we move on to react to some of the top headlines going on in the soccer world. And we have to start off with the Champions League games. Continuing, this is a weird format this week. It's still gonna be the only week is like this where we have Champions League games on a Thursday night. They're reserving this week only for Champions League. They're reserving next week for only Europa League, so we'll see something similar Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday Europa League games, and then Conference Week gets a week of their own later on in December, and it will lead to having some Champions League Thursday night games, which this will not be a common thing going forward. Even with this new format, it will resort to the regular Tuesday, Wednesday format with a congested amount of games going on in those 2 day time slots to fit in all 36 teams in 1 week. But but yeah, I just wanted to discuss the remaining games. Benfica were able to get a 2-1 win over Crvenes Zvezda. Leverkusen went away to the Netherlands to take on Feyenoord, where they got a thumping 4-0 win. Good win for them. Brest got a 2-1 win over Storm Graz. And I'll go a little bit more in depth with Atletico Madrid winning 2-1 over Leipzig. But I do have to say, really good win from Leverkusen going away to Feyenoord. Very, very decisive, very, very clinical, very ruthless, cutting edge. Everything that Tottenham is in, Leverkusen is. Just cutting edge, decisive, clinical, took advantage of their opportunities, ruthless. And that's the team that won the Bundesliga. And there was a little questions with them because they started off the season not as great as they did, losing a game early on in the Bundesliga, which we know the unbeaten streak that they had last season. But to expect them doing that twice in a row was just not gonna happen. So very good win for them, and I still think they're a very, very good team. The way that they bring fullbacks involved was Grimaldo getting a goal, and Frimpong, his importance as well to this team. They are a Champions League contender. They'll be a team that nobody wants to face off in the Champions League. I can assure you that you think Arsenal want to. If you think Arsenal, if they have to play them in the knockout stage games, do we really think Arsenal are the favorites? I don't know about all that. Atletico Madrid get a huge win against RB Leipzig, though 2-1. Benjamin Sesko, he took advantage early on a counter-attack opportunity for Leipzig. And then Griezmann, he was eventually able to get the equalizer in the 28th minute. We know the importance that Griezmann has had for Atletico Madrid. He's always been hugely, hugely important, and his importance continues even with the arrival of Julian Alvarez. Griezmann's importance cannot be understated. And then the winning goal came from Jose Jimenez, the Uruguayan international center half, gets the winning goal in the 90th minute, and it's an important win for Atletico Madrid. Diego Simeone saying Diego Simeone was saying that this was a must win. This was a must win for Atletico Madrid because of the new format. We'll get into those, comments later on. But speaking of this game, I thought it was a fun game to watch. In the fact that it went back and forth. Leipzig getting that big goal early with the header from Sesko on a counter-attack moments. Griezmann, the really good goal he scored with the very good volley. And then Atletico peltering Leipzig, dominating the match, creating a lot of opportunities. They like clear-cut opportunities, having 20 attempts on goal, which is a ridiculous number. And finally being able to get the goal into the back of the net. And it came through Jose Jimenez heading it in from across from Griezmann, who got a goal and assist as well. It was a great game. Griezmann speaking about the game, he said, "We know that any mistake could cost us a goal, and that's what happened. That was what happened. But we were mature enough to keep calm and work our way back from behind to start on the right foot. Winning is very important. Every Champions League game is difficult no matter the opponent. We have to work hard and keep going like this. We have tried until the last minute. We have a deep squad that will make the difference. Like today, we're on the right track, but it's only the beginning. You know, and Diego Simeone, he had an importance, and we saw it. Whenever Jose Jimenez was able to get that goal, he ran down that touchline and he celebrated with the Atletico players. He joined in the celebrations, in the pile, on top of Jose Jimenez, and when Simeone was speaking to the press about the win. He said the format forced us to win. Today, a draw is of little use. We played the game in different ways and with different players. The players interpreted well, and we got a much needed win. He's saying this new format. And with a 36 league game format, and the fact that you're only playing 8 games, and it's a 36 team league. Points. 1 point is not the biggest. It's not the biggest thing in the world. 3 points is very, very critical. Obviously 1 point could be the deciding factor down the line. Could be potentially, but more likely than not. Especially this early on. 1 point is more like 1 point lost than 1 point gained. So especially with Atletico Madrid, Leipzig is a good opponent, and I believe Leipzig is actually a pot 1 opponent in this format, as well. But there will be a little bit of harsher test to come. Atletico Madrid have PSG to play, and then they have Leverkusen to play, and then that's about it. The rest of the games are not done. This is probably their third most difficult game. So to get a result here, big win for Diego Simeone, big win for Atletico Madrid. I don't have to say that. Really, really big win. Speaking of going to international management, Graham Arnold, who was the manager for Australia as they reached the round of 16 of that 2022 World Cup, he resigned as the manager for the Australian national team. He resigned following the fact that they lost to Bahrain, and then they had a 0-0 draw with Indonesia in this past international window. He has resigned, and it was a shock resignation, as well. And Australian Football Federation Chief Executive James Johnson says the federation will want to are looking to appoint a new permanent manager for the Socceroos in the coming days or next week or two. There's been names that's been listed like Kevin Muscat, Tony Popovich, Hervé Renard, Jean Aloisi, Nick Montgomery, and Peter Klamoveshki have all been floated as potential candidates. We'll see what the situation is with the Australian national team. Big decision there to make as well, because you want to get back on the right foot in this World Cup qualifying campaign. You do have that extra safety net, the fact that it is a 48 team World Cup, so you have a little bit of breathing room for these bigger teams, which is, I think it's going to be hard to see some of these. I'm not saying Australia is a big team in the worldwide things, but when it comes to Asian football, Australia is a big team. So it's hard to see some of these teams that are expected to qualify for World Cups not be there. It's going to be more rare now with the 48-team World Cup. It's going to be almost non-existent. We're not going to have Italy miss out on a World Cup. We're not going to have Netherlands miss out on the World Cup. We know Netherlands missed out in 2018. So it's it's the new format. Thank you guys though for tuning into the GSMC Soccer Podcast presented by the GSMC Sports Network. Your support means a lot to us, so please remember to subscribe to the show and leave a positive review. It really does make a difference. We also invite you to follow us on Facebook, Twitter, TikTok, and Instagram for more content updates. Thank you once again, and have a wonderful, wonderful day.
go. I wake up to a little bit of drool on my pillow, feel like it's gonna be a bad day. Yeah, I'm tired of shit, and the coffee ain't